And this meeting is being live streamed, and we so have a dog bother us now. One moment. Okay. All right. Well, that took a minute to get here. Not even
a little bit late.
Yeah. I need to mute that. There we go. So, welcome to Cousins Critiquing Content. I am the pretty guardian. No, I'm the pretty cousin. I still wanted to say cousin. I'm a guardian. Anyways, I'm Rblomstrom. I am one of your two hosts, and this is my cousin.
Hi, I am Cousin Zach, and I am looking forward to talking about this half of Sailor Moon. And I enjoy both the Sailor Moon Crystal grew on me during the second season. It still had its rough patches, and I liked most of the Sailor Moon as despite some characters.
Yeah. So this week, if you're just tuning in for the first time, we are going back to our main Sailor Moon discussion. We have just completed Sailor Moon S, which is season 3 of the original, and season 2 of Sailor Moon Crystal, which was the re-up version. Previously, I think neither one of us really cared for Crystal as much. And for me, especially, it was just because it was so truncated. We lost so much information about, the characters and falling in love with them. It was just you got to love your characters if you care what happens to them. And I didn't really care that much about them at first, but I agree. Season 2, they really did grow on me. But yeah, and then season 3 of Sailor Moon S I loved it. I thought it was great. Feels like they've hit their stride. I'm laughing every episode. I'm crying when I'm supposed to be.
And Sailor Moon was a total badass at the end of it.
Yeah, she was. Yeah. I've been taking some notes during the show. I'm just going to read a couple of them. As we go through. So for S, I started on 112, episode 112, I think was where we had left off. Is that right?
That's correct. That's what I have on my notes.
Yeah. And so my first note that I see is, why is Chibi Usa's underwear always hanging out? It's such a weird, cute thing that we've had historically of little girls in these shows and stuff. But also in Japan, what I learned while I was there in the military, this could not be entirely accurate, but that Western culture, especially Americans, were the ones that brought underwear, and people didn't traditionally wear it, and it became such a fetishized thing that you could even get some in a
vending machine.
Yes, a vending machine, basically. And so then when I just put that together with we're making sure we see them all the time. I don't know. I mean, all the girls have awfully short skirts when they're in guardian form. So I don't know. It strikes me funny.
It might be a mixture of idol culture and maybe hypersexualization and
yeah. And the hypersexualization, I think, is much clearer, is much more prevalent in Crystal than it was in the original. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely some of that going on, especially their transitions, basically just naked silhouettes. And
yeah.
So, yeah. So probably something to do with that. But I have the Western bang bang, the cactus hat.
Was that the Gund Damon?
Yeah, and Yeah, she was like a Western. It was, and then they did their whole like walk in to this battle, where they like come through out of this cloud of dust and like this old timey Western town.
Yeah, it was U-Western. U-Western was the monster's name.
Oh, Western.
Oh, that's right. But it starts with a U.
Oh, I have an O written.
Oh.
But I wrote, oh, Western bang bang. So that might just be what they say. Like you call it U-Western, but when it speaks, it was like that.
Okay.
But I thought that one was a really fun, silly episode.
They just straight up stuck a revolver in their Damien machine and out that came.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up an image of it real quick because I'd love to share it. But it is not showing. Oh, Lake Monster. No. Yeah, anyways, I loved the cactus hat. I loved the monster. I have to say, especially like in Crystal, this is my next note is, so I noticed that, the transition stuff, they had like some new music and it sounded like badass rock stuff. And then they overlay their other music on top of it and make it all whimsical. And it's like a really it just doesn't blend and it's weird. And I wanted the rock music. I wanted to hear them sound more badass.
Yeah, because those guitar riffs are killer in Crystal. I dig it.
Yeah, they are.
And why do they have so much more power in Crystal than they do in regular series?
Yeah, that's something I know. Yeah, it seems like they just power up faster. It was almost like when they awakened, they were just like fully awake and now they could do everything. I even saw Ami, she did a move called Snow Aqua Illusion or something. It was snow. And I don't think she's done that in the original yet. I don't think she's that far along.
I don't think Jupiter's done anything with the plants in the series either, like she does in Crystal.
Yeah, no. And then, this is where we met Hotaru. And she was a sick healer, which was very interesting, somehow kind of a trope you see. And like my first guess was like, oh, that's Saturn. And then I was like, oh, wait, no, that's going to be the bad guy. And then it was like, oh, they're both right. But not really the bad.
I remembered her from when I watched the series originally long ago. So I already knew.
Yeah. It's
but this is it. This is the last part that I remember. We saw a little bit. We watched the opening credits of the season, didn't we?
Maybe.
No. Well, it looked new. So I don't remember anything from that. But yeah, this is the last part that I remember from childhood.
Awesome. Yeah. But man, and you're like, I'm sure like as you're watching along, things stick out and then you can remember it a little better than I can watching it for the very first time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then we moved along to episode 113. And that was, we have another like shared bath scene, but we were talking about it. I think in Japanese culture, like family baths.
Yeah, they have bathhouses are pretty common in Japan. You see them all over.
Yeah.
So I have here like the Outer Guardians meet up with Mamo. So Pluto, Uranus, and Neptune, they meet up with Mamo to try to dissuade him from something. I forgot what their conversation was about. It's probably having to do with the Messiah of Silence.
Oh yeah, or telling them to leave Hotaru alone. And the episode before is when we first heard Uranus say, "We're not like you," and that's true. You're not very compassionate. That's really the main difference I see.
she thinks they are better than the inner guardians.
She does. And she thinks it's because she's not overly compassionate. And it's just not true. Like, it's easier to just go and plow things over. It's harder to be loving and to do the harder thing. Like, that's not the easier way. She even calls her selfish later. Your selfish need to save people. Like, is that selfish?
The need that God saved her, that helped her save the universe and all that. That's selfish.
Right. Like, I don't know. I guess we have a different idea of what selfish is.
She wanted the quick, easy route. I don't want to say. I guess that wouldn't be easy. Kill a little girl.
She didn't seem to have a problem with it.
No, she didn't have a problem like killing anyone.
Well, the worst. Oh, sorry.
So she's willing to sacrifice like herself and her Michiru. They're willing to sacrifice
partner.
Willing to sacrifice Chibiusa and
she was going to sacrifice all of them at one point. Just and like their reasoning is that Hotaru is the Messiah of Silence, who, by the way, isn't the Messiah of Silence. She's actually two people wrapped up in one well, I guess three people, because she's Hotaru. We find out she's Mistress Nine, which seemed out of nowhere. I don't remember hearing that phrase before. And she's also the reincarnation of Saturn, the guardian of destruction. And like, that's a lot of people in one body, but Mistress Nine was technically, I guess, so what we discovered was the Messiah of Silence is kind of a mantle that can be bestowed on somebody. And it was, is that right? And then they were putting it on Mistress Nine?
It's something like that. I think it had to be Hotaru, since she was probably the most powerful vessel available.
Okay, I see. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, they didn't even have all the information, and here's Uranus and Neptune going on and on and on. Well, we got to kill this sick little girl who's y'all's best friend, and you keep protecting her, and y'all need to stay out of it, and blah blah. You don't even know what you're doing. Like, you don't know.
I was gonna say that family is tragic. Like the father, like he's under control for, was it like 7 years, 4 to 7 years?
4, yeah. That's a very sad family.
Yeah, he was taken over, forced to experiment on his daughter. His daughter was sick, and she was possessed, she was possessed by two beings. That's why she was always sick.
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of people inside one body.
Yeah. Like just being by myself is a little bit too much in this body.
Yeah, it gets crowded in here.
Okay, but I think like, we jumped ahead a little bit there.
Yeah, we did. But yeah, so they're still doing that. I think this is where we first hear the term Death Busters. We saw a new Jupiter transformation, Apollo and butterfly form. I had this idea while I was watching it, and I was like, okay, well, they're all of the guardians. Does that make Mamo like the sun? Like, if he's by himself, and the moon historically has been feminine and the sun has been considered masculine. You know, the god Apollo is, I don't know, just a passing thought I had.
What does Endymion mean? Like, did we, I think, look that up the last time?
Yeah, I think you were looking up the.
Maybe that's a clue to it.
Yeah, because I was like, well, I mean, we're finding, we found out Uranus and Neptune and Pooh are their actual gods. The god of the heavens, gods of the underworld, god of time. So, and I'm pretty sure we're going to find out, like, that's how the Roman gods were named, Jupiter, but they're the guardians of Jupiter. So I don't know. It does seem definitely like Queen Neo Serenity is a god.
Yeah, she has pretty godlike powers.
Yeah, so
Endymion from Greek mythology. He was variously a handsome Aeolian shepherd, hunter, or king who was said to rule and live at Olympia in Elis.
hmm. Oh, well,
He lives up to the handsome part and being a king.
yeah, but they have different names. So I'm wondering if maybe, I don't know. She was Serenity back then.
True.
Oh man, I copy and pasted this the show link. And let me tell you, the image it put of me in that frozen shot is horrible. I
You
didn't
don't
even
like
get to
it?
take it. No. Can we change that?
I think you can change it in the video. So if you go to edit it, you should be able to.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll do it later, but sharing the thing live right now, and it is hideous.
Hold on, I can do it real quick. I know where it's at.
All right. Well, then, so moving on to episode 114. The quote I wrote down is, "I hope your heart crystal is better than your tan." But I don't remember who said it. That's too bad. Did you write down which monster it was?
You
creepy director.
Johnny.
Oh yeah, it's a creepy director.
Yeah.
And not to be born. Oh yeah, this is where they start talking about. This is where she said it would be better if Hotaru was never born. But then Uranus also said, or maybe it was said to her, you might be able to steal someone's heart, but not their love. That sounds like an Usagi thing.
Yeah. You see who you said that?
Well, I have Uranus written next to it. You might be able to steal someone's heart, but not their love.
I forget who said that. Which one said that?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Thumbnail. Okay.
I must have been Uranus. That's what I wrote down.
Okay, it was Uranus then. I have here Monaco and Minette have a feud over the love of an idol. So they bond over the love of an idol. The Gentile Araki. They met there.
Yeah, he was a director, right?
It was the next one was the director. This guy was an idol.
Oh yeah, so this was Love Idol's agenda, or Love Idol's Mimet's dilemma versus Venus.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so in a competition to be picked for this show, and ultimately nobody won, which was pretty funny. The swimsuit competition.
Yeah, see, I put swimsuit comp audition sounds questionable. Like, why do you need that for? Why do you need that for a show?
Yeah, for to be like a performer in a movie. But, yeah, but Mehmet is like Kirk from the original Star Trek series, who would frequently kiss a girl and then hit her all the same episode. Yeah, I can see that for sure. Yeah, definitely for sure. 1 second, let me fix this lighting. Okay, it's usually much better than this. So then we move to episode 115, Shadow of Silence, the pale glimmer of a firefly, which is what Hotaru means, right? Oh yeah. Yeah, so and this is when oh, Setsuna and Chibiusa. So there's,
Planet Sailor Pluto.
yes. So at this point, it's very clear to us, though, that she's supposed to be the Messiah of silence or whatever. But I don't know. I'm not. Oh, right. And we also find out she's at the Mugen Academy, which Mugen is Japanese for infinity.
Yeah, it's on their sign and everything.
Yeah, they got the infinity symbol.
Right in the star.
Yeah, so that's when we first hear about the school and that's where they're going to.
But didn't we know they went to Mugen Academy?
Maybe, but this is when we find out Hotaru goes there.
Oh, yeah, okay. I thought you were talking about like everyone, like the other Guardians, like Neptune and Uranus.
Yeah, no.
Okay. For some reason, I have Chibi Moon nailed it for this episode.
Yeah, I have that note too.
I forget how she nailed it, but I'm sure she nailed it. Maybe it was the intro.
Yeah, I think she nailed it because she was like doing her intro, and it was like the first time she got all the way through, and then she's like, nailed it.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, nailed it. I nailed that. Yeah, nailed it. That's what it was.
Yeah, it did not change the cover photo, by the way. It didn't change.
I did.
I don't know. I took the link and it's the same. I mean, you may have done it, but it hasn't changed for me.
Okay, get a new link. Try this link and try it again. There you go.
I wonder. Let's see. Anyways, yeah. So, and I don't think that one was that episode was very much to it.
No. Then we have episode 116. I didn't write the name because I didn't pause it to look at it.
Oh, I did just want to mention one more thing. Last time, or the episode before, that's when they take her to the hospital and she almost gets to see another doctor. They take her to see Ami's mom because she gets really sick.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then 116. Ooh, this is a flower episode, I believe. Petals. It's talking about petals. This petal has no luster. You gave it too much fertilizer, which is a fun way of saying it's full of shit. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
So yeah, they go to this like nice flower place and take Hotaru.
And picnic. They go on a picnic, even though Hotaru was hesitant to that at first.
Yeah, and
they have a nice time.
Yeah, and then they go and they like look at all the flowers in the place, and Hotaru. Hotaru is still kind of avoiding Chibiusa, like talking to her too much. But
she's worried about brushing her bad luck off on her.
Mm-hmm.
People have a history of getting hurt or getting hurt pretty much around her. Then we find out why, because it was Mistress Nine the whole time. And
yeah, you didn't, but we do get to see Haruka getting pissed off that they still haven't like ditched her, like spoiled milk or whatever.
Yeah. Well, this is when like Haruka like first sees Hotaru's power is around the picnic episode. That's when we first see Hotaru use her abilities.
Yeah, but she didn't really seem to mean to or know she did, because I'm trying to remember exactly how it happened. Because I remember stuff was coming in through the roof and he was trying to protect the roses, which was a really nice way of saying, she's like, roses should be outside. And he's like, turns out like, oh, these are very delicate and, things could hurt them and we got to cherish them and keep them well. So it was like a nice warm fuzzy for Hotaru also. Yeah.
Yeah, I have was it Damon Yubura?
Yeah, I have you Bara.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I have here Hotaru saves Sailor Moon and crew. I have that on there. So that's when that happens.
Yeah, there's also this moment in the episode where Mamu is like super proud of Usagi and just like, I don't know, he's saying something and he was like, she's just the best. She's so great, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, that's so lovely to hear. He just thinks she's so awesome. And also, we saw some wilting. Oh, this is what we saw. We saw some wilting flowers near her, which is the opposite of healing. So that was kind of interesting because before we had seen her heal Chibiusa scraped knee, but now flowers are wilting in her hands.
Which makes sense as a god of destruction.
Mm-hmm. But where did the healing come in, though?
I don't know.
I feel like it never gets addressed. Ever gets addressed.
And maybe it was just filler. Maybe, I don't know if it's part of the original story.
Just for them to be friends. That was how they met.
Yeah.
I don't know. And Usagi faints again. Like, Usagi faints a lot. Granted, she's using a level up power.
Should get her blood sugar checked.
Something. Like, it seems like something's definitely not right. She's going to keep doing that in every battle.
Yeah, it's that super Sailor Moon form that drains her.
Yeah, with the Holy Grail.
Yeah, the Holy Grail transformation with Moon Crisis makeup.
Yeah, Crisis, yeah. Oh, man. Just hearing almost stutter over the word makeup made me think of like that final battle. Yeah. But we'll get there. Makeup. Okay. 117, Higher and Stronger, a cheer from Usagi. This was a very silly episode.
This might have been later in life because I've gotten down. It's like one line for this episode. Actually, I didn't write anything down for this episode in my notes.
Oh, well, they were playing Twister, and the target was a runner who Hotaru was infatuated with. And so they kind of like convince Hotaru, like, well, she writes this like love note, and so they are going to do everything they could to make it possible for her to give it to him. And then, so they all snuck in where he's practicing, and then Usagi just drug her past like security and like, you could do it. Which, she kind of chickens out.
Yeah. The only thing I have written down for this episode is Outer Guardians believe they are better than the Inner Guardians. That's when they pretty much came out and said it.
Yep.
Episode.
Yeah. And they say they're stronger too. And I'm like, so far have not seen that. By the way, we've only seen one move from each of them.
Yeah.
Like,
you're a one-trick pony.
Yeah. World Shaking was awesome 20 episodes ago. But what else you got?
We saw some people tank those attacks, so like they're not great.
Right. And like they have shown up to pretty much every scene, at least in the second half of this season, late. They get there second. Actually, that's pretty much been the whole thing. They show up late after all the fighting's already been started, and then take over last minute, and then would just try to steal heart crystals. Like lazy AF.
They come in, well, looks like my work here is done, but you didn't do anything. Like,
yeah. And then talk like all this shit about how much like worse they are and everything. And they don't do anything the right way. Like, how come they're everywhere before you, huh?
They get results. The Inner Guardians get results.
Yeah. The Moonies. We call them that?
If you want to.
Yeah.
Sounds too much like the Goonies.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, Moonanites. No, that's a thing.
That's force.
Yeah, but it was really cute. Chibi Usa doing a little cheer for her friends. And then moving on to 118, which I loved this episode.
Battle inside the demonic space.
Yes.
The Guardian's
Game.
Gamble. Yeah, this was fun.
Yeah, and I actually saw this one twice.
I actually really liked the professor in this episode. He just gets there. He's locked out of his house. He's like, Then the Guardians show up. He's like surprised they figure it out. They're there to help him, Hotaru, and he just kind of lets them in. Like either they die or they free his place and he gets his daughter back. Either way, he wins. So he just chills outside and just rubs the whole time.
Yeah, and eats all the snacks.
Yeah, every time they go back and he's over there just keep on eating. He's just having a good old time. Which he deserves. Well, he doesn't deserve that. The actual person deserves that. I forgot the name of the monster that was in control of his body. Doesn't.
Oh, I don't remember either. They said it once.
Yeah, once or twice. Yeah. That's at the end.
Yeah. Maybe it's in my notes. But so the episode does start off with them playing cards, and Hotaru keeps getting the death face Joker card.
Yeah, they're playing Old Maid.
Mm-hmm. What did I say? Cards.
It is cards. I just wanted to specify.
Yeah. Yeah. And and then of course the science stuff is happening in the basement where Mehmet has shoved full the thing that makes the daemons with all these games, and that's what causes some sort of temporal shift, so that each of the areas, there's a whole bunch of different dimensions that have now come together in this house. Whatever. Okay, I'll go with it.
It kind of reminded me of the Page Master. I don't know if you remember that old Macaulay Culkin movie where he's locked in the library and he kind of goes through all the different books. So he goes through different genres. So that kind of reminded me of that because they're going through different climates and stuff.
Yeah. And then of course, they've gotten really good timing with a lot of their silly slapstick stuff. When Hotaru's I don't think we should be moving around, and Chibiusa's it's fine, and then now she's standing over a cavern and falling into the earth, and Hotaru saves her.
They straight Bugs Bunny that because that ground was gone, and she's for a good 3 seconds before she actually dropped.
Yeah.
They had the I don't have the monster's name, but I enjoyed her look because she was pretty much like a playing card / queen.
Oh, I wrote it down. The name is Ikesaman. Ikesaman.
Okay.
Yeah, and of course she's you can get out when you beat me at these games, and then just straight up cheats until there we go. That's better.
Yeah.
Maybe not. What is going on right here? I don't understand.
Yeah, she beats the Inner Guardians. Then it's up to Chibiusa and Hotaru to save the day. Mm-hmm. And Chibiusa is good at games. We learned that earlier in the beginning of the episode. So she takes out her, but then she's like, "Oh no! Now I'm changing the rule one more time."
Psychs her out too.
Yeah. And I'm changing the rules one more time. This other girl has to beat me now.
Yeah.
And she tries to cheat again because she marked the card and she's trying to psych her out. But Hotaru, with encouragement from Chibiusa, picks the right card and they win the day.
And everybody's trust and belief in her.
Yes. I actually said to her, we believe in you, Hotaru. No matter what you pick, it's not your fault, everything will be okay.
Yeah, and poor Hotaru's needed to hear that. She's been so alienated from all the kids in her school and been
her own life. questionable.
I'm sorry, I'm eating chocolate chip cookies. I suddenly felt like, oh, this is a cookie moment.
That is fine. So they beat the monster. Hotaru goes, the house is taken out of its regular dimension. The professor thanks them, then goes back in to plot their demise.
Back to business as usual.
Thanks for this little reprieve. I enjoyed my snacks. I was back to business.
Yep. Back to science. And then we have what? Well, episode 119, Star-Crossed Besties.
Ray has another premonition of the apocalypse,
which she still hasn't told anybody about.
Yeah, she tells him in this episode because she's pretty much forced to when Pluto.
She was outed.
Yeah, like Pluto's. Oh yeah, she's been having these dreams.
Mm-hmm. And the monster was Uchoten, dressed like a burlesque dancer, kind of with the stars.
Yes, I remember that because she had the stars on her.
Yeah, the star nipple tassels.
Yeah. It was an interesting choice. I wonder how that was shown in the 90s on American TV.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't believe it was.
But didn't Ray's premonition start revealing like the silhouette of her too on like a side?
We see the weapon she's using and her hairstyle a little bit in this one, because that's when she starts figuring out that it's her Hotaru that she's seen in her premonition.
Yeah. And then, we hear from, Haruka Uranus that I don't remember it was this episode, but talking about how Saturn is the god of destruction and therefore bad. Like y'all are powerful gods of stuff too. So she can destroy stuff. Like that's good for the good guys. To me, it never sounded like she must inherently be evil. Like it doesn't change your what your power is doesn't change your disposition. Anybody who's played an RPG knows that.
Yeah, destruction is not necessarily evil and creation is not necessarily good. Because you could be creating a xenomorph and you could be destroying a great evil.
Yeah, I don't know. And this is when Chibi Uso wants to take her friend to the planetarium, which I do want to go ahead and document. So the music, and I've still got to look this up. The music that has been playing in the background, that sounds like it's like the sad song we heard when, I swear it's the same song that we heard when Mamu had broken up with Usagi or whenever they were being kept apart unwantingly. And the same song starts playing whenever that starts happening to Hotaru being kept from Chibi Uso. Still got to verify it. I just want to put it out there. I think it's a very particular sound that sounds like the sad music box, but I don't know. Anyways, back to the episode. DJ Thomas Harris, this is the guy who's doing the planetarium storytelling, and Mehmet is of course there.
Mm-hmm. Is this the last appearance of Mehmet?
Maybe.
Because this isn't the one where she goes into the monitors.
Or
is that the next episode?
I think that's the next episode.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I think
I have here the Outer Guardians attack Hotaru and Sailor Moon rescues her. That's what I have in my notes.
So, because they do. And Sailor Moon took it standing up too.
Yeah, she took both their attacks. Like, I expect to wipe someone out with that if Sailor Moon is just bodying it.
Yeah. And telling her y'all are stronger than her. So was that 119?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
120. An invasion from another dimension. Mystery of can't read the last two words. Mystery of something.
It is the Infinite University.
Oh, I guess that's Mugen University. Okay. That makes sense.
Oh, and this is Reese. Come here. Reese is making an appearance.
Hey, Reese.
Hey, hello. Uh-oh, she saw my cookie. That's what she wanted.
I like that background.
Yeah. I just got it on Adobe Stock. I like it too.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I have here Hotaru vanishes from her home, and Pluto finds Chibiusa at that house trying to find because she's trying to find her.
Oh, yeah. And wasn't Pluto mean to Hotaru? And this is where she's like, I hate you. You know, this is where she starts getting really mad at Pluto.
Yeah.
Which is, really kind of heartbreaking because as the season goes on and Pluto's trying to keep her safe and keep her away from what she thinks is somebody who's going to destroy the universe, and Chibiusa just loves her. And she's like, I just remember she was crying. She's like, I hate you. And Pluto's like, I understand, and still hugging her. Like, so sad. Like, that's been her, like, that was her best friend. That was her only friend. And now all of a sudden, like,
she's fair weather.
I guess. But I guess it is something special to have a friend closer to your own age.
Yeah. I mean, Pluto is timeless. Is Hotaru close to her age, though? Chibiusa's pretty old.
900, right?
Yeah. Did they say that in the original series? I'm just thinking of in Crystal, they say her age, and I'm wondering if that's the same.
Oh, I think they've said it in this one too.
Okay. So
yeah, because they tell the story that she can't age. Or maybe that was in Crystal. No, ma'am.
I don't remember if it was in this one, but she's old in Crystal. So is Usagi. So are all of them in Crystal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah, this is the one when Mehmet is eavesdropping and is gonna trying to take the job away from Telu.
Yes, this is the one because I have here at the bottom the last note.
Yeah.
Telu.
So we've been going this whole season. We have a thing that says Witch is 5, and we're only on the second Witch, and like we don't have that many episodes to go. So
they blew through them at the end. Like,
yeah, they did.
I think we got the most out of Mehmet, or maybe Kalanite. Kalanite was really Witch's 5. She was like the personal assistant.
Yeah.
And I forgot how she came back to life. I guess she never died. If she was gone, then she came back.
Yeah, she just didn't want to go back out in the field. It seemed like he was like, I need you to go back out in the field. And she was like much happier just taking care of him. And totally gets used by him. She really, for some reason, does love him for whatever weird. They all do. I don't get it.
Maybe it's the teacher vibe. They're hot for teacher.
Yeah. Oh, and this is when we find out that Hotaru and Professor Dad survived that train crash or whatever.
It wasn't a train crash. They were in a laboratory. There was an experiment going on. They're trying to look into another dimension, I believe.
Yeah, a fire at a genetic engineering lab. That's right. Yeah.
That's when they survive that, but they survive it due to possession. They get healed by, I guess this is when we get Pharaoh 90. Or whoever was that took over the professor's body.
Yeah. That is what it is.
So they were here. So they were controlled. I guess that was 4 years.
Oh, yeah. Also, there was some really, like, for this episode and the next couple of episodes, we start getting some like really strange, unnecessary, like male gaze, like viewing around on panning on women's bodies, like Mehmet's especially. And then later, like we have that guard who just goes and like keeps poking Usagi in the butt, trying to get their attention. Like with some weird, there was a couple of weird things about their bodies on that episode. Just a note, but and I also wrote down this, so that it was Upasicum, right? Upasicum?
Monster?
Yeah. A computer person who had mice for shoulder pads, a monitor in its belly, keyboard belly. I don't know, but it was one of the most dynamic, fast-paced fights I think we'd seen in the show yet.
And she was just launching mice at people.
Well, and like the Guardians were responding super quickly.
Yeah, they're dodging.
Yeah,
they dip, dive, dodge, ducked.
Yeah. Yeah. We saw a brief of that too in the interdimensional house episode when Minako uses Love Me Chain to catch them from falling, like very suddenly.
She's very versatile with that chain. She uses it for good for attacks and support and defense. She's great. I'm trying to think of her versus like Trevor Belmont in a whip off. Who would win? Probably her. I don't know. Trevor Belmont is pretty beastly.
I was thinking of Kurapika from Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah. But
he would probably win. He's a specialist. And he can also only use it in certain circumstances. I don't know. I'm sure she'll catch up. But yeah, he seems like the most overpowered chain user in any show I've ever seen.
I watched the first episode of season 3 of Crusade of Crystal, and she pulls out an attack there. I was like, what the hell? Like, why aren't they using this in S? That would have been dope. Dang.
Well, maybe we'll see it soon.
Yeah.
I also see that we have Usagi fainting again
because of her transformation to Super Sailor Moon.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to try to read what I wrote here. Let's see if we can figure it out. Okay. First, he made things worse in the last. Oh, I know what I'm talking about. Mamu. So in 119, he had gone and made things worse during the fight. And they were making fun of him that. And then this one, he shows up with Chibiusa. He's like swinging in on something. And then she's just doing her little attack.
Yeah, it worked. That was funny. It was
funny. But no, it didn't work. I don't think it did anything. It was just a distraction.
It worked. It distracted him at the right time. So Sailor Moon can pull out her final attack.
It's pretty funny though. Like some of the things they've had Mamu start doing in this season, like showing up to help, and they're just like, it's not helpful. What is he doing?
He doesn't have much to do in this series. Like, he comes in, throws his rose, and offers moral support. Then he's pretty much poof, gone. I will say he does get a little bit more to do in Sailor Moon Crystal. That's about he gets a little more due.
He seems much stronger in Sailor Moon Crystal too.
He's got an energy. He's got an energy blast. Like, well, what the hell? Like, what? Why doesn't he get that here?
Yeah, I don't know.
He looks cooler in Crystal too, since he doesn't have to wear that top hat.
Yeah.
That was a good choice for the top hat.
For sure.
Not many people can pull it off, and he wasn't one of them.
You don't think so? I thought he was doing all right.
He was all right, but it's the Monopoly Man and Ebenezer Scrooge. That's about it. Actually,
was the Monopoly Man wearing a top hat, or was it the monocle he's not wearing? There's some Mandela effect. Yeah, okay. I couldn't remember. It was one of those two.
Yeah, it was the monocle. Because that was a joke, and it was an Ace Ventura. Like, oh, it's the Monopoly Man, but he's wearing a monocle, but so it wouldn't make any sense. But people think if he has a monocle, but he doesn't.
Yeah. So then Mehmet gets her fangirl dream of making it big on the screen, and she like uploads herself into the screen, and Telu shows up and like, if I unplug this, you'll die. And they're like, don't do it. And she's like, well, don't care. Kills her own teammate. And
yeah,
which was interesting because Haruka and Neptune like were judgmental of it. Like, I can't believe they just killed their own person. Literally, like 4 episodes ago, you were like, I hope they never come out of that dimension, even though it's just Hutaru you don't want around.
You were really happy to die.
Yeah. What are you talking about? You have no moral high ground here. Yeah, no moral high ground. Now then we go to 121 with Telu in charge, Season of the Witches 3. Yeah, and let me tell you, this is a solid plan.
It is. It was very effective. Like hey, get plants, like these special plants they'll build up hype. People buying them, and these plants are taking people's heart crystals. It's just like that.
Yeah, I mean, some of the other stuff people have sold trying to get it just wasn't as effective because it required people doing more things, but not these. The plant just did it.
If it senses a pure heart crystal, bam, bro, you're gone.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be pretty obvious how to track it back to them if there was any like detective work in this series, but
yeah. But by then it would be too late.
Yeah.
And they've already got them all. I think this was the most successful attempt because she literally gathered them in mass like that.
You know what I'd like to see? Like someone gets like assigned one of these cases. Then like, okay, we're so close to solve it. Then the Sailor Guardians just finish it off for them. I was like, God damn it. I think it'd be a funny, just little side scene. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be a nice just side story to pull out every once in a while.
World building. Can see outside the Guardians.
Yeah.
And see how they're perceived with the general citizens, general audience.
Yeah, we don't get to see too much of it.
No, like we see how like Sailor Moon's family reacts, and that's about the only civilian perspective we get. We don't really see a lot of whole Haru or the guy's name that I can't remember. Naru or that guy I can't remember, and that other guy I can't remember. Arcade guy and
the teacher. Guy. Oh, Mitoki.
Mitoki and glasses guy.
Yeah. I feel like it starts with a U.
Yes, I believe so.
And he and Naru are apparently dating.
They've been dating for a while.
Yeah, it just wasn't very clear until they made it very clear.
I thought it was pretty clear last season.
Yeah, well, once they did the dating show, that's when I I was like, oh, they really are together and they know they're both together. But
Well, I think they knew together last season. It was
maybe.
Richo and Ray who were just kind of playing hard to get with each other, or didn't know if they wanted to have a relationship.
Yeah. Well, Ray.
Mm-hmm.
So then moving on to episode 122. Welcome to the dollhouse. I think I was getting tired. I don't have any notes for this episode, but well, besides the little recap descriptions I'm looking at.
Yeah, it's an Ami episode.
Mm-hmm.
So
Bill Louie is which.
See, believe in love, Ami, the kind-hearted guardian. So Ami goes to Yugen Academy to take an exam, and they get this opportunity to investigate the school. This is when was it Eula?
Bill Louie?
Louie. So this is actually
ILUI.
Eula is already dead. From the flower one's already dead. I forgot about that.
Telu died last episode? I forgot.
Telu died in that episode. Now we're going on to the next one. Because there was an actual Damon. She was the only one there. So she took the brunt of the attack. And so now we're down to 2. So this is number 2. And yeah, Louis. So she is also another smart person like Ami. Like she like tries to build up herself as a rival.
Yeah. And then they have that argument over who would make a good teacher, and she says something like, well, it's science, you don't need feelings or compassion or something like that. Or to be a teacher. And Ami's like, no, you have to be able to understand your students and relate to them.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. She's wrong. I don't know who you're trying to train, but that person's trying to train. That's not going to work. They're like a one-size-fits-all type of teacher.
Yeah, here's the quote. Because teaching is a science, and science is all logic and no heart. You're wrong, fool.
And that ends up being her downfall.
Because of her nano robot she made.
Yeah, she didn't have any friends to help her, so she didn't.
And they weren't discerning. They didn't know that. Yeah.
And that's all I really have for that episode. I'm trying to remember anything else. I mean, we just lost another Witches 5, so now we're down to Witches 1. So that's do you remember anything else from that?
Not really.
I remember liking it.
I remember, I mean, the view when they were like looking at people who come into school and they're like, some don't fit the bill. And there's Usagi just sitting in line eating.
Yeah. She's definitely not getting in.
But yeah, all the students had been kind of turned into zombies or whatever for school. So
is this where they start getting separated? We start seeing more the Death Busters and kind of taking the students to the side. Or was that the next episode where they do that?
That's called Shadow of Destruction, Messiah of Silence Awakens.
Okay, because I'm trying to remember when the one of the Outer Guardians get separated and they're still with their classmates. I might be remembering that wrong though. Okay, well that's all I remember for 122. Let's move on to, unless you wanted to say anything else about it.
No. Nope. 123, Shadow of Destruction, the Messiah of Silence awakens.
Yeah.
And that's where we meet the final 2 members of the Witches 5.
The final one, the 5th and final.
Cyprine and Pitul.
I think that counts as one because the one.
Yeah, but it does count as one, but it's actually 2.
Yeah, they're a tag team.
Yeah. Oh man, and they were so overpowered. Like the only way that they could beat them was by getting them to attack each other.
Yeah,
because they were tough.
they were working well together, and then the Guardians worked better. Is this when Sailor Moon got separated from them? This is when. Yeah, this is when
Well, I know this is when Chibiusa has to be left with Mamoru because her heart crystal's been taken. That's how. And so to keep her alive, Mamoru has got to use his own body energy to sustain her life. Yeah. So, but she's awakened with Chibiusa's heart crystal, one of the most pure or whatever.
One of the pure,
and
yeah,
and they want to kill her. They want to still try to kill her, but it's like still Hotaru, and it's Chibiusa's heart in there now. Is this when they get bodied and wrapped up, and then everything else gets left up to the other Guardians? Is that right?
Yeah, because the other Guardians beat the Pistol and whatever, I can't remember the name was. That's when
Cyprine.
Yeah, that's I think this is when they set up that barrier around the school, because the school was pretty much closed off.
Yeah. So the next few episodes we just kind of go into the big battle. So and it's this was the cool fight though. And so I mentioned that they had to trick them into attacking each other, and I think we didn't find out for sure if it was Shine Aqua Mist that they used, and then Jupiter and Mars. No, Jupiter and Mars, they were like going in and out of the haze, trying to get them to attack each other and follow each other until they could lead them back around into like getting right out of the crossfire for them to attack each other. It was pretty cool. I don't remember what Venus was doing at the time. And then I think, I think Sailor Moon was definitely somewhere else.
Yes, I think this is when Sailor Moon already got grabbed by...
she reached her hand through space.
She had become Mistress 9. She became Mistress 9 at the end of this episode, and then reached through space and grabbed Sailor Moon and brought her in.
Yeah, I think Sailor Moon and Venus just weren't really doing anything in that battle. It was 3-person effort. It was weird, right through space, which also doesn't seem to really get explained later.
It was their space.
Huh?
It was their space, I guess. It was in their dimension, so they can. And she was pretty much powerful at that point, all powerful at that point.
Maybe. So then we have this like bloody Daemon River. Like all of the daemons start coming out, and they're just like this big red oozy mess, and they're like standing. It was like a horror show.
Yeah, it was gnarly.
Yeah, and that's when she put her hand through space. They pulled out Sailor Moon from there. And I remember the witch feet curled up and disappeared, and it reminded me like in The Wizard of Oz, like how it just, anyways. But and then that big dame is like this huge wet human shield. And at first they were trying to fight him, but there were too many. But that's when they ended up doing that barrier. And man, that was terrifying. They're each on each side, like shooting power to each other. And these demons are still like coming at them and trying to attack. And all they can use is their power to try to keep them from hitting them, which starts faltering after a while. That's some brave shit right there.
the stronger Mistress 9 and Pharaoh 90 we're getting, which I don't know what's up with these numbers and these names.
I know.
I can understand which is 5 because there was 5 of them. I don't
Yeah.
know, Mistress 9, Pharaoh 90. Maybe they just like, maybe it's Japanese. Maybe when we hear their names in Japanese, it sounds better with like Pharaoh 90. I don't know. It just
Yeah, I
sounds
don't
kind
know.
of silly,
Or
which
maybe we'll find out that there were 8 previous mistresses who all died because they weren't good.
89 previous pharaohs.
I don't know. Or maybe like that's the year it came out, like COVID-19, like he came out in 90.
Maybe there's 90 pharaohs in one.
I don't know.
Death Bush is a cool name though. I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the name. I like the name, which is 5, and that makes sense for that group. The other one is less so, but it's fine. It's names. Names are supposed to be fun or supposed to be mean something, but
Yeah. Yeah. So, and if you remember, there was this is the Outer Guardians tried to get in and they saw like that big star opening in the top. They were flying a helicopter, of course.
yeah, because they have helicopters readily available. Because they
Right.
have boats, motorcycles, race cars. Why wouldn't they? Why not just parachute in then at that point? Like, if you're gonna come in, make a scene, come in the parachute because there's no place to land a helicopter because it's pretty much cut. That whole thing is covered. You might have more luck parachuting in, but it's fine.
Instead, didn't they get grabbed and dropped?
They did. Sailor Pluto saved them. She froze time.
Oh, right. Yeah. Gave up her life to save them. And what did they do? Fucked it up as soon as they got inside.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I forgot. Like, what a waste of Sailor Pluto sacrificing herself, because if she stops time like that, that kills her, right?
Yeah, because she's breaking her own rules.
Yeah, so in season 2 of Crystal, we hear the 3 rules, which, includes like not to stop time or travel and blah, blah, blah. Like the 3 rules were given to her by Queen Neo Serenity. But then in this one, seemed like there was only one rule, and that was like, don't stop time. And she did that. Yeah. So they get inside. They get inside and they are trying to fight like the dad professor. But they still get handled by Mistress 9 and get wrapped up.
Yeah. And then they eventually fight the professor by himself.
Yeah. Well, in the meantime, Hotaru's character has gone back and forth between pretending to be nice and needing help to like psych, to then Hotaru's like actually fighting from inside of her, like, no, get out of my body. Like, so Hotaru is actually, so this was what it was. Hotaru is the reincarnation of Saturn, but the Mistress 9 was the invader in her.
Yes.
And that's who the Messiah of Silence was. It wasn't Saturn. That's the way to explain it. So she wants to be able to save Hotaru by separating Mistress 9 out of her. And they're like, well, got to have the Holy Grail. Of course, the other 2 are like screaming at her and like, I'll never forgive you. Like, you don't even like me. Like, what? I don't care. If I was Sailor Moon, I'd be like, You'll never forgive me. All right.
Don't like me, fight me.
Right. Um, yeah, and um, I think it was really cool that, Usagi she couldn't hurt this little girl, her daughter's best friend or her sister or whatever their relationship is.
And she promised to save her, like, and she's not going to break
Yeah.
her promise like that.
Mm-mm.
She'll do everything she can to bring her back, and at the moment she hadn't tried everything she could, and so she gave up the Holy Grail to try
Yeah.
and save Hotaru, and then
And she did.
yeah, well, I mean, afterwards, she did destroy the Holy Grail, then gets attacked
Yeah.
by Pharaoh 90. Her dad, because her dad had broken off the brainwashing at this point, and he tried to shield Hotaru with his body, and Sailor Moon stood in front of both of them and took the brunt of the attack.
Yeah. Again.
Yes.
Yeah. She keeps, and it was the right thing to do because he was able to help Hotaru have the strength to win in her own body. So that was good. And then, so this is what I was a little confused on. Was that Pharaoh 90 that big thing that was the destruction, and then Saturn went in because she can destroy it?
Yeah, that planet galaxy size thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and we didn't even really get to see what happens in there. We just see that Sailor Moon returns with a baby.
Use your imagination.
I don't want to. That's interesting. I want to know what happens in there.
Well, it involves something. Well, Hotaru gave Chibiusa her heart crystal back. She realizes who she is at that point, that she's Sailor Saturn, the guardian of destruction. And she says, for me to use my power means my death. And she's willing to sacrifice herself to beat Pharaoh 90. Sailor Moon is
That's what a Sailor Guardian would do.
She Sailor Moon is distraught. She doesn't want her to sacrifice. She's trying to transform into Super Sailor Moon. This is where we get like painful shouts of her trying to transform. She's able to reach the Sailor Guardians, and they each lend her their power, even though they're on the brink themselves.
Yeah.
And Sailor Moon's able to transform.
Even draws it off of the outer.
Yes.
Guardians.
And Sailor Moon's able to transform into Super Sailor Moon one more time. She jumps into the fray. Like, we don't see what happens in there. You're right. She comes back out. She's holding a baby. She looks battle worn. She has like 1,000-yard stare. She's gone through something in there. And
yeah, I don't understand that decision to not show us, other than just lazy. Like, I hope we get to see it later. Maybe, she does come out with like that dazed, shocked look. So I don't know. I don't necessarily think a show in the 90s will deal with PTSD, but that would be a really good time to, because this is the one she did without everyone else, and whatever happened.
She done a lot of them without everyone else. She's usually her.
Queen Beryl, yeah.
She's usually her by herself at the end. Besides like last season when she had Chibiusa.
Yeah, and Mamu. Or was that just in Crystal?
I think it was just in Crystal, but Momo was there with them. I think at the end of Sailor Moon, he wasn't there.
Yeah. So it was a great season. It was funny. I thought the battles got better, faster paced.
Animation was better, I believe. And the action, the battles were a lot better. It wasn't just like them showing old animation for their attacks, then hitting. It was a little bit more than that. So it was a marked
Yeah.
improvement in the action. Transformation still took too long, but that's just a
Oh,
given.
yeah, we did get to see that one transformation where they all transformed and they all had like new things to say.
It's not really new. I don't think there were new things. I think it was.
I know. Well, Jupiter said something new,
She said that before.
maybe once. We didn't get to hear it much though. It was badass. It was badass.
It was pretty great.
Do you have anything else about S?
About that episode, no, because we like next episode is pretty much the cleanup.
Oh yeah.
Hotaru ends up back as a baby, and
In her dad's hands.
in her dad's hand.
Which was such a weird decision. Oh yeah, we see that Uranus and Neptune stole the baby.
They
It's
took
almost
it
like
to the
Sailor
hospital, I
Moon.
guess. They took it to the hospital, get checked up, and handed it back over to the professor.
Yeah, but Sailor Moon didn't even seem to remember.
Sailor Moon was dead on her feet at that point. At the
Yeah.
end.
So they took that baby and didn't tell it. And like her dad, they were like, oh yeah, he's had severe head trauma and
Amnesia
psychological trauma, amnesia, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know what? Let's put a little baby in his hands. This is what we should be doing here.
I mean, yes, but also it is his daughter, and I don't know. Like it seems harsh, like to separate them. Like they've both gone through so much.
I agree. I just thought like we didn't even discuss if this was the best option for this baby. And they didn't notify the other guardians where she was to help keep an eye on and protect her to make sure she was safe.
Well, Pluto did. Pluto told Chibiusa.
Well, she said she's okay.
No, because Chibiusa saw her right after that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Chibiusa knows.
Yeah, and so the other ones know.
Yeah, I guess so. All right. I accept it.
Okay. Then Usagi has a throwdown with the outer guardians because they come in talking their noise, saying they don't respect her, won't follow her rule. The inner guardians are ready to throw down. Like, hey, hey, you got some beef? And call me the beef eater.
And Jupiter was like way sick of their shit. Like literally Sailor Moon had just saved everybody again and you two got bodied and you still are acting like you think you're better. Like, ugh.
Yeah. So Sailor Moon wants to avoid the fight part, but they want to fight. So she eventually is like, okay, then she bodies both of them pretty easily. Like they try to double team her, like they do quick attacks, and she's just too much. Like she's
and Mamo separates it again, like gotta let her do it.
Yeah. And she makes them bow down at the end. Well, they bow down. She didn't make them bow down.
She made them.
Yeah. She was like,
and now they're calling her the true Messiah.
Yeah.
Which Pluto's disembodied voice told them something about the true Messiah. I wonder, we should find out more about that. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense as Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
She is like godlike in this world. No.
I mean, and she does continue to save people over and over again.
Yeah, she's practically immortal at this point. I mean, she does live for 1,000 years. It still looks like she's in her 20s.
Stopped aging at the age of 22, which
24.
I mean, either way, like honestly, I would not have wanted to stop aging at 22.
Physically aging?
Huh?
Physically aging?
Um, yeah. Like, I mean, I just think I look better as I got a little older.
Okay.
I just looked so young when I was 22. Just, I don't know. I need respect. I can't go my whole life with people treating me like I look like a 22-year-old.
I've looked the same age for the past 10 years. Only thing, my hair has gone a little bit grayer. That's the only way I could tell the passage of time.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I like the way I looked best when I was 37.
37?
Yeah, or 20, 29, maybe 37. I don't know,
Like 2
depending
years
on the year
ago?
of the time. Though I definitely could go back and use like my younger body. That would be okay. My, yeah, that would be fine.
I looked real good at 30. I was because I was pretty slim or slimish. I wasn't slim. I was physically fit. I had a good face shape. I mean, still got good face shape. But I think I looked my best then. My hair was perfectly coiffed. Uh, I was killing it in my looks at that point.
Nice.
I don't know what happened.
Nice. I mean, you look the same to me.
Yeah,
So you can say you didn't look good then because you look just like you do now, or you could take that as you look good now because you look like you did then.
true. Okay. My face is a little bit more fuller, and that's about it.
I mean, that happens. And that also comes and goes like with your actual shape at the time. Because
Yeah.
some days I'm much rounder, but I do feel like overall, I've always had a very round face. And I think that's basically my face just slimmed up and took more shape a little bit as I got older. So that's what I preferred.
My face mirrors my belly. So the bigger my belly, the bigger my face.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So anything else about Sailor Moon S?
We didn't talk about the last
Oh,
episode. Like Chibiusa is going to go
yeah.
home.
Yeah. And they were all sad. And then
Wrote a
she,
letter and like have a going away party, and
yeah,
then she comes back.
of course.
Yeah,
Like, it's also kind of weird for them to be like, it's time to come home when she could literally come back to any moment in time.
she's immortal too. So yeah, time means nothing to these people.
Yeah. I mean, she's gone 900 years without friends her age, and now she gets to go to school and do all this stuff.
Yeah.
Let her stay. Let
Uh,
her stay.
I didn't have anything else. I mean, that episode was pretty much just the dessert at the end. A little
Yeah.
sweet.
Nothing changed. It was
Yeah.
just an episode.
There wasn't any peek into the next season or anything like that. It was
No.
just a little bit of epilogue.
Yeah. So, um, and then to Sailor Moon Crystal, which we had already watched the Sailor Moon R
Yeah.
for season 2. So we already kind of knew the Black Moon story. So yeah, do you want to lead us on the discussion over Crystal?
Let's just kind of go like broad strokes for this one.
Yeah, I don't think we need to go over episode per episode.
Yeah, I think like because the villains were taken out a lot quicker in this. Like they there was no redemption arc for the villains in this. They were
No.
they like, okay, you're done. And
Yeah.
I mean I kind of liked the redemption arc in the original series, but I also liked seeing them get wiped out as well. Because they were pretty awful, and there was curing them in this one, I guess. So I was fine with it. But I really liked Ami's episode and this better than I did in the original series. Even though it was pretty much the same thing, it just seemed more centered.
Which one?
The one she was, I think she fought Cone, the chess game.
Oh yeah. Just a minute.
I don't have any my notes.
Oh, I mentioned like about how Usagi is much braver and more determined in Crystal. Like
we're seeing that a lot more in S than we did in R though, because if she seems like
but that makes sense. We've had a couple of seasons of this, whereas in Crystal, like it just happens so much faster.
True.
Yeah.
I remember like the individual episodes. I remember Sailor Jupiter's episode, because there was a different love interest in this one, and
which one?
In Sailor Moon Crystal, and the Jupiter's episode, she had a different like love interest than she did, and I don't think the character we met in that we met in the original series is a side character.
Are you talking about episode 3?
I believe so.
In season 2?
Yes. Oh, why don't I have the episodes?
As Makoto is weakened by the virus, Asunuma. Oh, okay. This is the one where she goes and trains.
Yeah.
Is that one? That's what we're talking about?
No, this is the one like right before they get kidnapped, because that's right, because the Guardians are getting kidnapped at the same time that they're beating the villains.
Oh yeah. And then it comes all the way back down to just Venus and
Moon having to come in there and save them at the end. Well, I did like that. I think that was a good twist on that story.
Yeah.
Like, so the Guardians were getting stronger, but they like with each of their victory, there was also a defeat. So it was like the villains are gone, but so are the Guardians.
And like how soul crushing, like that's a lot to come, like to overcome.
Yeah, and Usagi was really going through it at this point.
Yeah. And because then we also, if we find out that in the future, Sailor Moon is all crystalled up and can't do anything, and like future King Endymion also, but they have that like hologram version of him or whatever he is. I don't know.
Yeah, it's force projection, sort of calling it.
Yeah, and he can like give his old self directions and tell him how to like be stronger. And he was like, Mamu was way stronger.
He is. And I want to say this about Crystal, because it did not have that Usagi Mamoru breakup storyline that was the absolute worst storyline in the series. That was
so awful.
That's it didn't have that. So I'll say that automatically that makes it a little bit better, because it didn't have that whole nonsense that was just aggravating. But then,
I agree.
But then it kind of ruined it with the Chibi's, the black lady Mamoru makeout thing. It was like, like they hinted at it in the original series,
Yeah, but then they were like, psych, that didn't happen.
Yeah, they full on did it in this one. I was like, it's gross. It's gross.
Yeah.
I guess that's the darkest depths of like Chibiusa's mind. Like she has a electric complex.
I guess.
Yeah. I'm shooting broad strokes. So like the Guardians get captured. Venus and Sailor Moon go in, try to save them. I think they were able to get them out right. And I'm trying to remember. I just watched the last episode, and the other ones are a couple weeks behind me.
Yeah, well, so I'm thinking of like the final battle. So like you keep thinking you're battling them, and they're like, psych, the planet's not really here. Like, oh, you thought that was them? No, that's not his real form. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. It's like the final boss battle, like in a video game.
Yeah. Well, in Prince Demand, he also tries to come through and fight, but apparently he wasn't really ever tricked. That was kind of weird.
So he was in on it in this one. He was still super into Queen Serenity.
Yeah. I was trying to remember. I meant to go back and watch it, but I didn't. Like, how similar did those final battles go? Because I don't remember like them floating through space to try to attack this thing, and then like it turns out like it's clear that Usagi's stronger when Endymion's with her, and their love is combined, and so is Chibiusa's, and that's when they're at peak.
I don't remember that in the original. I like the way it played out in this one. Like they power each other.
Yeah,
I did like that.
I did too.
But I don't remember it playing out like that in the original. I might have to go back and rewatch that end of season 2. But I don't remember it ending like that.
Yeah, I don't either. So
I remember Chibiusa being there because they turned into their princess forms.
Yeah, it was super cute. And then, of course, Neo Queen Serenity gives them all new transformations and planet powers. Like,
yes. And I like I said, I saw the first episodes of season 3. I was like, man, those are cool.
Yeah. I did think it was a weird choice too. They're like, time will break if we meet. And they're like, no, we're going to meet. We're going to both future me and me now. We're going to do it.
Like consequences be there. Like they'll just rebuild the universe if anything. Like,
yeah, I guess they could.
They have the power.
Yeah. They're like, well, we don't mean any harm, so it's fine.
Yes. And that's really not much to talk about Sailor Moon Crystal because we already went through it over Sailor Moon R and just like broad strokes pretty much. That's just broad strokes. Yeah.
So I think maybe next week what we should do is just finish up on season 3 of Crystal, and then focus on another show, and then we'll start covering season 4 at the same time. Okay.
So you want to do Sailor Moon Crystal next weekend, like maybe an individual show each, or
oh no, I'm saying like we'll finish this next week. Go ahead and finish Sailor Moon Crystal season 3 to catch us up where we are in S, and then we can just do a little recap plus whatever else we're watching. I want to go ahead and prepare for doing a little history of anime, so we'll just do a short episode on that, and then I can give a little short lesson for anybody who doesn't really know too much about anime and are kind of late to the game and just kind of watching it, and like you start seeing certain things that are happening over and over again, you want to know more. So I have been reading up on that, And it's really interesting too how influential Nazi Germany was on anime. So if that sounds interesting to you and you want to know, why do they draw faces like this? Why do they have these stories? Why is it this? Well, I'm going to put that presentation together for you. I'm not sure. What were you thinking about wanting to talk about next time?
Well, next week I was going to talk about like the second to last saga in Hitman Reborn, and maybe the Atom Project, the new Ryan Reynolds movie that came out on Netflix.
Yeah. Well, I definitely have a few things. Hitman Reborn sounds pretty awesome. I kind of want to watch it too. I did finish season 2 of Sabrina, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. So we can talk about that real quick. We'll just do broad strokes, and maybe I'll just put together a little short clip of some of my thoughts over each of them and then just drop that. But I think I liked it more than you did.
Yeah, I was, by season 2, I was done with it.
Yeah.
I was done with it.
I don't know. To me though, like I'm watching it like it's a CW show. So it didn't make me any angrier than any Oliver Queen.
I've given up on CW shows too.
Yeah, I know. We've quit watching them.
all the decisions are getting more and more infuriating.
Yeah.
So
here's why I don't blame Sabrina as much as you is, one, she's a kid and she really is trying to do the best she can. And she does feel like, her aunt Zelda has stood in between that. And then she physically is standing in the middle of that. And she's like marrying this guy who they all clearly don't trust. And Ambrose is on her side. He's like, yeah, I'm going to help you do this. Ambrose is just as guilty as Sabrina, if not worse, because he's hundreds of years older than her. Mm-hmm. So, I get it. Like, she was suddenly high on power and she was trying to do good things with it. She wasn't just going all willy-nilly. But how come nobody mentioned to her that you just said you were Satan's sword? Nobody told her she said that. Everyone acted like we don't know what that was.
I don't remember that. I don't remember. It's been so long since I've watched season 2.
Yeah.
I've locked a lot of that away in the vault and thrown away the key.
I thought it was fine. It doesn't require that I pay too close attention to it. I can definitely scroll on my phone while watching it.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a thought-provoking series.
Mm-mm. It's not.
It's Supernatural Riverdale.
Maybe. I didn't see Riverdale, but that sounds right.
I like watching like some of these essays on shows I'm never going to watch. So there's one by Alex Myers. He does a whole thing on Riverdale. And he just keeps on getting more and more perturbed the more he watches the series. Like, he doesn't know what's going on in the series anymore. Like, they went into
that happened to another show on Netflix.
I was going to say, it started out as a regular teen drama, and this last season they went to an alternate dimension. Not Riverdale, Rivervale, and they had to find a way to get back to their home dimension. So they've jumped off the rails onto a new track.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What is the one? Hemlock Grove. Hemlock Grove was one that kind of moved like that for me too. It just kept getting weirder and weirder. And I was like, I don't even know what's happening. No questions are getting answered. Only new questions are being created. So I kind of just stopped that one.
Yeah.
Maybe one day we will watch the final 10 episodes of Supernatural and talk about it.
Maybe.
How long have we been saying that? When was the last time we tried to watch it? A year ago?
About 3 months ago, 4 months ago, something like that, November.
Um, really? I feel like it's been longer than that. Maybe not.
October? I don't know. Do you want to tell them what we're starting after we're done with Sailor Moon?
Do you?
Sure. After Sailor Moon, you say you want to start the Stormlight Archive after
Oh,
that,
yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
So after Sailor Moon, we are starting on the Stormlight Archive. This is going to be her first read through of it. I read it for the first time a year ago today. I started pretty much a year ago this time last year. So I'm going in not fresh. So
Yeah.
it's a good series. It's fun.
Yeah. And I decided what I was going to do. Because like, I kind of do it already. Like when I watch shows, I keep this like running voice memo log by talking to somebody that I'm watching it with. Like, I really should put everything together that I did for Naruto, watching it and like sending my friends and sending you stuff. Um, but like as I do it, I'm gonna keep that and I'm gonna put it all together. So then when we get together to talk about it, I'll just like run that at the end. So or like at the beginning, so we can hear all the just they're just reactions. There's no explanation. It's just straight up reactions and a little bit of reflection. But I think that'll be fun, especially because it's a bigger piece, and it's in text. So
Yeah. We're going to do it in parts.
yeah.
The first book is 5 parts. Each book is 5 parts.
Okay.
There's
Yeah.
4 books so far.
Yeah. So and going back towards my roots of critiquing, literary critique, that's, I have my degree doing that. So this will be a little bit easier for me to keep organized because I'm used to it. So I'm looking forward to getting back into a book.
I'm excited for you to start this series. I fell in love with this series last year.
Yeah.
I give it out. I've given it out as a gift 3 times.
That's what I did with Game of Thrones when I first read it. Like in the Navy, I gave it to so many people. And then when I got out is when they turned it into a show. And I was like, look, all you people, see?
I hope they turn this series into an anime. I don't think it'll work as live action, but I think
Yeah.
it'll work as an anime series. There's too much. It leans more into the fantasy than. Oh, it takes place on a different planet, of course. It's not Earth-like at all. So it needs to be I don't think it can be a live action.
Could be full CGI. Could be all
We'll,
green
we'll,
screen acting.
we'll talk about it once you start reading it, and so you
Yeah.
can start getting an idea.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Yeah. So do you have anything else you want to talk about this week before we just wrap it up and say goodnight?
If you haven't already, go check out my One Piece live reaction from Friday. I talked about chapter 1043. It was a slobber knocker, and there was a lot of cool stuff. I'm not going to say any of it because Rachel is anime only, so she can't spoil her on all the goodies that have been going on. but go check it out.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's definitely something we need to make sure that is clear in the description that like we try not to do spoilers, especially for newer things. But obviously, if you're coming and you're going to listen to us talk about Sailor Moon, we're going to spoil it. We're going to talk about, and we also have a lot of other shows we've seen that sometimes get brought up.
If a series has been going on for more than like 5 years, we're going into spoiler territory on it. Like if we start talking about One Piece, spoilers definitely going to come out on that.
Yeah. And that might just come up in background conversation. So, but at the same time, I feel like the way we bring it up, like I don't understand how it could spoil something for somebody.
Yeah,
because you don't really have any context or anything.
True.
Yeah, but for the most part, we try not to, but no promises.
Yeah, like if we start talking about Supernatural, that's going to get spoiler territory because you can't talk about it without.
Yeah.
Just talk about it, you get into spoiler territory because there's so much going on.
Yeah, for real. just, you know, a lot of shows like that.
Yeah. Like procedural shows are pretty much just week to week. These long going series though, they're always changing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm going to do better on my notes. I think I'm just going to type them all up from now on because it was better when I had it up there than down here.
Yeah, I kept on.
Oh, I do love that they always had nasty chuckle. It was how Kaori. Well, Kaori's was always listed at the bottom in captions as nasty chuckle.
Yeah. I'm gonna write them down and just type them afterwards. I kept on looking down at my notes all the whole time was me looking like this, that me can go right here.
Yeah. Well, you know, those are just like live reaction thoughts.
Do you want to go off air now since we've been off for 2 hours?
Yeah. I was about to wrap it up.
Okay.
So that's what you can be expecting from us next week. Like I said, Sailor Moon Crystal Season 3 we'll be talking about, and I will be doing a short history lesson, and you will be talking about your thing. If you missed it, we did just do, for my Quarantine Queens Theater Company, we did just do Henry VIII. You can still see it and buy tickets. Also, definitely go check out our YouTube as well and like it and subscribe. That would be super helpful. We are going to be pulling back a little bit on how much production we're doing because I might be getting my own radio show and wanting to put some more energy and time into this. So that is going to be happening. Also, I know I have things to, we do have a play coming up called The Unkindest Cut. It's a just-in-time murder mystery, like a noir thing. And I get to play him again, which I love playing, like a comedic noir detective. And he's a literary detective, straight up my alley. Yeah. And then other stuff, I have a music video coming out, all sorts of stuff. So I'll keep you posted. I do need to go.
Yeah. Our socials are down below in the doobly-doo. Like, comment, subscribe, and have a great night.
Yes, thank you.